Hi everybody, welcome to another recipe. Today we're gonna do two things. They're so easy to make, that's why I figure I'll do them both at the same time. One is the tomato cucumber salad with cilantro, lemons, salt, pepper, and what else? And then that's pretty much it. So I know people have complained about me making too much pasta, carbs and rice and this and that. So today I'm gonna figure, okay, here's a good side dish that you can make and add it to your protein, so that way you're not eating carbs. For example, I do this whenever I make milanesa or schnitzel, as it's called in Germany. So whenever I make that, a milanesa, I add this on the side. This is my side dish. Okay. Ooh, that sounds funny. My side dish. But this is what I make with a milanesa. On the other hand, what I'm gonna make, I'm also gonna make an appetizer. Now, whenever you go to an Italian restaurant, people call it bruschetta. In reality, it's a bruschetta. And what is it? It's tomato. We're gonna have to peel the tomatoes, cut the bread. Any baguette will do. Basil, okay, olive oil, and of course some balsamic vinegar, and that's it. So they should take, again, for you to make this 10 minutes each, and you're avoiding carbs. It's good for you, it's healthy. Although on this one you got the bread, so you got to be careful. But I'm gonna go ahead and marinate the tomatoes, cut them up first, put it in the fridge. I usually wait about 2-3 hours, maybe 4, and then I mix it all in again and put it in toast the bread. But we'll get to those steps in a minute. So let's go ahead and get started. Although before I do this, I'm gonna say a couple of words. Don't worry, not political. But this one is, I wanna say a few words to my tia IRMA. If you notice on the top of the channel, you'll see her picture. And I'll say them in Spanish. Sorry for those of you who don't speak Spanish. It's time to learn. Okay. Bueno, tía, desde aquí de Los Ángeles le agradezco. Bueno, yo le agradezco todo lo que ha hecho por mí y quisiera desearle un tremendo cumpleaños, junio 30. Desde aquí le mandamos un caluroso abrazo de todos los patojitos, o ya no están patojitos, patojita, mi esposa, toda la familia, la queremos mucho y esperamos verla pronto. Se me cuida y otra vez feliz cumpleaños. Okay, so that's my tía Irma. Okay, so let's get started. This is the way I like to do it. I like to cut the end and then just peel. Okay, so if you have an easier way of doing this, please let me know. This is the difficult part of this. Again, I'm making bruschetta. Again, you probably know it as bruschetta. It's funny, whenever I go to an Italian restaurant and the server or the waiter pretends to be Italian, one of the ways that I know he or she's not is by calling it bruschetta, or perhaps that's how we know it, so that's why he or she uses that. Okay, so once it's peeled, you're gonna peel, and I'm gonna use, depending, probably gonna use maybe about 7 tomatoes or so. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do all of them first, and then once they're all done, tomatoes are done. Now there's different variations. Now one thing I forgot to, one of the main ingredients, Parmesan cheese. Okay, so I have about half a cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. It's a must. So what I'm gonna do is, I like to remove the juice from the tomato. So I'm just going to run it here and get rid of anything. And of course, you want to wash your hands, but this is what I'm doing. I'm removing all the liquid from the tomatoes. Okay, so Once I have that, remove the liquid, I'm going to get the albahaca or basil. Okay, I'm gonna chop it up. I'm gonna get about half of the garlic and dice it, and then I'm gonna add about, I would say about a third, that's too much, a quarter of olive oil. Some people like to use the balsamic vinegar with the oil. I don't, because some people like it, some don't. So what I'll do is once I serve it, I'll serve it with this, and then whoever wants it, they can add a little bit of vinegar, balsamic vinegar to it. Now this recipe, I got it by watching somebody in a small little town called Benevento. It's just south of Naples. Our good friend Francesca is from there. So that's where I saw it, and that's the recipe that I've been using. Again, now that all the liquid has been removed, I can put it back on the bowl and then I'll start adding the ingredients. Okay, so I lied. I was gonna use half, but this is all I have left. Okay, I love garlic, so as you can tell. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mix this. Okay, that's the basil, and that's the garlic. Okay, it's all minced, and you know what? Actually, I'm gonna use a little bit less cheese. So I had about a quarter, half a cup. So I'm using about a third. Okay. So now I can use the olive oil. Okay. Again, you want to use about 2 to 3 tablespoons. So you want to mix it, and you want to put it in the fridge. Give it a good 2 to 3 hours. Okay. Need to add a little bit of salt to it. Right now, the flavors, you know, they're not overpowering, but once you put it in the fridge and then you check within 2 hours through 3 hours, then you'll see the difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of okay, and let's do some fresh okay, and this is good. This is done. And this is a great appetizer. Okay. If you want to try adding the balsamic vinegar at the same time, take a small little batch and add it and see how you like it. And everybody in your household likes it, then go ahead and do it. Otherwise, do what I do. I'll just take the balsamic and I'll put it on the side when I'm serving the toast with this, and then whoever wants it, they can add to it. Whoever doesn't want it, they don't have to. You know, it gives it a kick. Okay, it, you know, kicks it up a notch, as they say. But it's all, you know, personal taste, whatever you want. So now this one's ready. Obviously it's not ready right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the fridge, and I can start working on this. Although actually, I may just wait in about an hour or so. What I can do, there's two ways of going about it. I added a lot of garlic to this, so once I slice it, small little pieces, I can, okay, heat up some olive oil with garlic, and then use that olive oil to brush the bread, and then toast it 400 degrees, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you want, you can broil it, but be careful not to burn it for a couple of minutes. So you can just toast it by itself, maybe a little bit just regular olive oil, or you can do what I'm gonna do, which is add the garlic to the olive oil as I heat it up. Cook the olive oil so it gets that garlic flavor, and then brush the bread, bake the bread, and then you'll get a double punch of the bread with garlic, and then the bruschetta with garlic and olive oil, and then the vinegar. Okay, so we'll try it in a bit. Okay, so while the bruschetta, the tomato, is in the fridge, marinating, doing everything that it does, now we're gonna do the tomato cucumber salad, which is very popular. At least I learned to watch my grandmother make it in Guatemala. It's very simple, and it's always a good dish to take to a picnic, to whenever you're invited, and to bring a dish, and how most people bring pasta, rice, this and that. This is the substitute that will keep you healthy. There's nothing that goes in this. There's just tomato, cucumber, onion. One thing I didn't tell you at the beginning was here, avocado. However, the avocado I'm not gonna. You'll see. I'll put it at the end because otherwise it gets mushy, this and that. So you'll see how I make it. So first thing we gotta do is cut this. Okay. Now, of course, always wash your vegetables. Okay. If you didn't wash them before, hopefully you learn to wash them now. Wash your hands all the time. Now this next step, I don't know why I do it. I saw my mom do it. I saw my aunts do it. I saw my grandmother do it. Okay, I see everybody do it. What does it do? I guess I don't know. It cuts. Oops. It cuts the sourness of it. Makes it a little sweeter. That's the tail. But I don't know if it's true. And you know what? I'll do it. If it's worked before, why question it? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to peel these, and then I'm going to cut these. Now these I'm not gonna dice. Okay, you'll see when I cut them. Same thing with the onion. Okay, so I cut the cucumber. Okay, it's all here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and cut, slice actually, the tomatoes. I core them a little bit. Remove the pit with a small little knife. Okay. And now just slice them. And that's it. Okay. Throw them in there. Do one more. I'm gonna do 3 of them. I really like tomatoes, as you can tell. Now, sometimes my family wants me to cut the slices in half. I prefer them thick. Okay. And again, I'm gonna add the lemon once I add the onions, and I'm gonna put them in the fridge. Usually, when I make this as a side dish, I'll go ahead and do this first. So I put the tomatoes, the red onions, reminds me of an old club, the red onion. So all we need now is lemon. But before we add the lemon, I'm gonna go ahead and add salt. Okay. Okay. And now I'm gonna add some pepper. Now, if you want, you can always add, for example, spinach to this, and add a little punch to it. Of course, now I'm gonna add the lemon. You can also, sometimes I'll do a little bit of garlic powder, actually garlic salt. So instead of salt, I'll use garlic salt. So now I'm gonna use the lemons. Okay, let's see, 3 is enough. Once that's mixed, then I add the cilantro to it. I chop it up and add to it. So we'll see how it comes out. Okay, so I tried it. It needs salt. So now I have a choice. Do I go with the salt that I use, okay, or do I add a little bit of garlic salt? So I'm gonna go ahead and go with a little bit of garlic salt, a little more. Okay, I added actually 2 lemons. It looked like that was enough, but it needed salt. So let's see. And again, it needs to marinate, so after this, I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Of course, I'm gonna add the cilantro. That's gonna add a little more to it. The onions add a little to it. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of olive oil. Sometimes, not always, but let me just see. Okay. So when you take a bite, you're gonna taste the lemon, the cucumber, the tomato, and of course a little bit of the kick of the salt. Okay. So in this case, try it, and you can see if it needs a little bit. For example, pepper. I see that you may need a little bit more. Okay. So let me take one of these. That's okay, good. Lemony, salty, a little. The tomato, so it's good to go. Again, I'm gonna add the cilantro. I'm gonna chop it up, add it, put it in the fridge. Another couple of hours, and bring it out. Slice avocado, if you really like avocado. If you're what we call in Antigua, Guatemala, Colonial City, if you're a panza verde, means a green stomach, then you may want to add 2 avocados to it. But don't do it now, do it when you're ready to serve. And then mix it a little bit. Make sure that the salt and the pepper and the lemon go into the avocado, and it'll be a feast, okay? And again, no carbs, no rice, no pasta, no potato. It's all natural, it's all good. Okay, we're back. So the bruschetta, the tomatoes and all that, they should be ready. It's been a couple of hours. I even changed my shirt in case you haven't noticed. So I got the bread. I'm gonna go ahead and slice it up, and I'm gonna bake it at 400 degrees. Okay, again for about 15 minutes. I'm going to drizzle it with some olive oil. Okay, so put it in the tray. Okay, so here we have the bread. Okay, and now I'm going to drizzle it a little bit. With some olive oil. I decided not to cook the garlic. Just not this time. I think the tomatoes have enough garlic. So this should be okay. Now you can do both sides, or you can just do one side. Again, this is your preference. There's no, way of doing this. It's just whatever you decide to do. It's fine. Whatever your family likes, that should be fine. If you need more cheese on your tomato, in your bruschetta, your tomato and basil, then go ahead and add more cheese. I think I'm gonna add a little more to mine. If you want more garlic or a little bit less garlic, that's fine. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bake this. Wait about 15 minutes, and then add the tomato mixture to this. And this is a perfect appetizer. Most people will really like it. I haven't had any complaints, and I doubt. Both of them are done. Here you see the tomato and cucumber salad. It's marinated, so now I can add the avocado. Again, you don't want to add the avocado before, just because you want it to marinate in the fridge. Avocado gets soggy, you don't want that. So now that it's ready to serve, now you can slice up an avocado and add it to the salad. And here I have the tomato, basil, garlic, olive oil mix. So I'm gonna put the bread in the oven, bake it, and then once it comes out, we're gonna add a little bit of tangerine balsamic vinegar. You can use different types, and again, the key to great cooking, not that I would call this great cooking, but the key to cooking in general is ingredients. If you get fresh ingredients, if you get the best ingredients, then your meals or whatever you're making are going to come out great. The tomatoes are not the way I want them. They're not so fresh or plump as I wanted them. I'm sure if I were in somewhere else, in the farm or whatever, it would come out a lot better. But it's still very good. I could smell that, and if I move over here, I could smell the cilantro and a little bit of the tomato. So it should be a good one. Now, one thing I may try to do is add a little balsamic vinegar to my tomato and cucumber salad, but we'll see. I'll take a couple of pictures and post them at the end of the video of the cucumber and tomato salad, as well as the once the bruschetta is ready. Hope you try it. Again, next time you have a party, you don't want to have just the same old carbs. Have a little bit of this, and most people will like it. Not everybody, of course, but most people will like it. And then if you're gonna get a little bit of carbs in there, you can have the bread. You can figure out maybe something else to replace the carbs in the bread. But again, the bread soaks up the olive oil, and then it'll suck up the olive oil that we use for the tomato. Hopefully you guys like it. Again, don't forget to like, and if you have a comment, go ahead and make that comment. And if you want to subscribe, that way you get notice of all my recipes, please do. Again, this is all for you guys. Thank you.